Welcome back, everybody. We're here in Canada at the wonderful Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Who's going to come out fastest of all in the next hour? Yes, it's time for qualifying.
Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm MrRedClaw and you join me as I am on my qualifying lap around the Canadian Grand Prix. One of, if not my favourite track. I always say this, but it is just really nice. Sector 1, Sector 2 flowing, then Sector 3, you know, that flat out back straight. Really fun. But let's see what we can do during the one-shot qualifying for the Grand Prix. Let's see if we can actually, you know, not finish last in the qualifying, but, well, we started off okay-ishly, but now we have dropped down to P21, and in the corners, once again, like in the last race, or last qualifying for the Chinese Grand Prix, I said that I can either set the car up well for, you know, cornering or for, you know, flat out top speed. And as you can see through the corners, we are gaining back positions, but then out into the back straight, we are just basically losing time to absolutely everyone. That's basically what we need to balance so far with the car, because it's not the best, it's not the fastest, and we basically just need to have the balance. And this time around, I mean, didn't really work out. We just need to get a car into a spot that we can actually set it up for cornering but still be fast enough in the straights for us to actually do well during qualifying. But that is Leclerc on pole, Norris second and Verstappen third as we start last. So let's see what we can do during the race and hopefully score some points.
Montreal is not only the second largest French-speaking city in the world, but it's home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. The name Villeneuve looms large over this one, but who can write their own legends today? With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell, Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Perez, Ocon, Stroll, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Albon, Tsunoda, Bottas, Magnussen, Joe, Hulkenberg, Vesti, Sargent, Maldonado and Red. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So here we are, lined up last on the grid, and it's actually it's a one-stopper for everyone else, but I have actually decided to go for the two-stopper, which is normally a very bad idea when everyone else is on the one-stopper, because it's just going to be, you know, 10 seconds slower, and unless you're, you know, like a top 1-2 car, you're not going to really gain from that. Especially on a track that's a little bit harder to overtake like Canada is. You really have to be in the right place at the right time with the right tyre to actually be able to plan some overtakes. But already up to P17, just finishing getting past Sector 1, so pretty decent stuff. Of course, we are on the softs compared to everyone's mediums, so we basically need to overtake as many people as possible in order for this kind of strategy to work out. But as we are seeing, into P16 now, side by side with Bottas fighting for that P16 slot. And as we can see, going into the straight, we are losing a bit of time. Luckily, we put on a little bit of ERS over there, which we managed to keep ahead of Bottas into the final chicane next to the Wall of Champions, going on to lap 2 over here, with DRS, of course, being enabled, and just basically just trying to overtake as much as possible. Bump into Albon over there as he locks up, very bad, but luckily no damage for either of us. And yes, basically the strategy that I've picked was start from softs, then onto mediums, then onto hards, and I'm pretty sure it was about 10 seconds slower than apparently the medium to hard stint that everyone else is going to be using. So I guess we'll see. That definitely wasn't a really clean overtake, as we actually fall out of the DRS of Albon ahead of us, so we definitely need to catch that up going into the next DRS zone, and we do, as there's some yellow flags on the track. Now what is this for? As we see Max Verstappen in the Red Bull on the hards going slow with loads of well, as we nearly spun out over there, was really bad. Yes, loads of smoke out of the back of the Red Bull over there, as Verstappen is actually out of the race. So a DNF for Max Verstappen. Now out of the first kind of sector from on lap 4, as we saw that spin, that lit my back tyres, really increased the temperature, and as you can see, 20% on the rear tyres. So I'm pretty sure I fell back from what, P15, P16, all the way down to P20, which is definitely not good. And our teammate Maldonado right behind us with the DRS even. And well, as we saw over there, we the cars ahead to Albon ahead, we went from having DRS on lap 3 to being 2 seconds behind going into the spin over there. As there's another yellow flag over here. What's wrong now? Is there another person who is going to DNF, or is someone just going a little bit slowly somewhere? Not really sure, but going on to lap 5 right at the start, I thought, okay, yeah, I have absolutely no control over this car anymore. The back is sliding like crazy. These tyres are just done for. I really should have pitted at the end of lap 4, to be honest, because as you can see over there, with the large fuel load on my car at the start, of course, our rear tyres are absolutely destroyed. And talking about destroyed, luckily my front wing is not destroyed, because I am actually on simulation damage over here. So luckily for me, that stuff, that crash into the back of my teammate over there actually did not cost us any damage, which was good, because that would have been quite bad. You know, already making a difficult kind of strategy work. That definitely wouldn't have worked if I had an extra 5 to 6 seconds to change the front wing. But now on lap 6 we leave the pits on our medium tyres now, 17.7 seconds behind our teammate. So I guess we're going to see, as we nearly spin, these tyres are definitely not warmed up quite just yet. I do actually have some damage. I'm not really sure where I picked that up from. Maybe from the crash from Maldonado, not really sure. Maybe yes, maybe not. But as we saw, lap 12 we closed in on everyone. On lap 16 everyone is in the pits, and actually we put in some decent lap times, and as we see, we are actually going to actually overtake a couple cars in the pits. So moving on from P21, I guess we were, all the way up to P17, which is actually some decent stuff over there. But now everyone else is on the hards, and you know, I've been on these tyres since the end of lap 5, I guess from lap 6, so you know, already on lap 17, like those 11-12 laps afterwards, my tyres are already going off, which is, you know, bad. Couple more overtakes in the pits, moving up to P15 now, so it's all looking good, you know, close to the points and stuff, I guess close. We are within a shot of the points, but of course I still need to make that one pit stop, because I am in no shape, way or form staying on these tyres until the end, because that would just be impossible, as Logan Sargent is our second DNF of the race. So that means the lowest we can finish is P20, and well, looking at the state of what's going on, we are probably going to finish P20, because on lap 19, 26% on the rear tyres, and I am preparing to pit on this lap over here. Learnt my lesson from the crash from Maldonado, so we actually do kind of slow down before, let Magnussen pass, and pit in for our hopefully last pit stop. I guess we'll see how things turn out. So we pitted from I guess 16, but 15, I definitely would have thought of Magnussen a lot harder if we were staying out. So, you know, we were at least racing people, but that 14 lap stint on those tyres mean that we are going to come out last and about 10 seconds behind the cars ahead. So I guess now it's just a matter of, do we have enough time, enough fuel and enough pace to actually catch the cars ahead on lap 22 out of 35. Now, I mentioned this in the last race, but I actually kind of messed up with the kind of like the amount of fuel I had in the car for the race, because before on F1 2020, 2021, you used to be able to, or I guess with a fully upgraded car, you used to be able to fuel up for one lap more than you would be running. But I discovered last race and this race as well, because I recorded this before, I guess before, well, afterwards, after that race, but I didn't really think it through. But basically need about a lap and a half, at least for me, at the current kind of upgrades that we have for the My Team Career car. I basically need about a lap and a half more fuel, I guess fuel laps, than we have laps in the race. So we are going to run out by about a half. So lap 32 out of 35, we have actually closed in on Maldonado, a really good stint, because he was actually ahead of Hulkenberg and I'm pretty sure another driver. And on Hulkenberg, you know, 5 seconds, we closed in about, what, 3 to 4 seconds, so not really that bad compared to, you know, the much better Haas, compared to our much weaker car. So, you know, I'm happy that I actually was able to manage to catch up to someone, which means that maybe this was the right kind of strategy. I mean, you know, we are still last, but that's just because I spun out. I would have been in a much better spot if I was actually in that P15 before I spun out, before we pitted in for the first time, and before we had to close in the gap, because instead of closing in like a 15-second gap, we would have been closing in about a 5-second gap. So would have been a lot different this race, and I think we would have been fighting for around that P15 spot, if not maybe a little bit further up the grid. But you know, a little bit of a mistake on my part, and it has been happening quite a lot. But yeah, a mistake, and I didn't actually repair the front wing before, because I thought, well, let's see if we can actually catch these guys. And now, after 40 laps on the hards, and they were still okay-ish, I would have definitely finished, I actually had to pit in for the same reason as in China. I had to basically get lapped to have one lap less to have enough fuel to finish the race. And I guess this is all kind of like a, you know, just trying different stuff to see what works, as we do cross the line in last place. But at least now we know what kind of fuel we need, what kind of strategy we kind of need to keep the tyres fresh and actually have pace to catch up with others. And this has actually been a pretty nice race, with Sergio Perez driver of the day once again. I'm pretty sure he was driver of the day in China as well, so not really sure what's up with that.
Go for Charles Leclerc as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
Well, that's 2 race wins in a row for them. I think they'll be really happy with that. I mean, 1 race win is great, but to have 2, you know that you've got it. You're a little bit more comfortable in your skin. This is a great sign of maybe what's to come next.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
So there we go, Leclerc wins from second, actually no, it was from first, with Norris second and Lewis Hamilton in third place. Now, we might have finished way out of the points, but we did learn a lot of valuable lessons out of this race. So hopefully we take that into the next race. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.